Agents of the Four Seasons Dance of Spring made me feel traumatized right along with the characters. If you're here hoping for a glowing recommendation, you won't find it, but I can admit that the overall production quality is very good. I went into this expecting more interaction between the representatives of the seasons, more focus on magic, and more about the gods who've bestowed these blessings. But instead, we got a bunch of agency politics, bureaucracy, and damaged families. When I originally read the synopsis, I'd thought Agents of the Four Seasons would be a mysterious drama. Instead, it was honestly difficult to watch and pulled out all of the stops for content warnings that you could think of, making for a toxic and stressful experience. And the problem is, it doesn't even fully dig into that aspect of itself until after Autumn gets abducted.
I really loved the introduction to this world in the first episode. It put weight on how the country had been affected by not having a spring for 10 years. The slow unravel of where Hinagiku was for those 10 years was really interesting, although it did get a little repetitive at times.
Hinagiku's severe PTSD was always present, with the stilted speech and disassociatively referring to herself in the third person. But we were mostly dealing with it from the perspective of fighting our way forward. After episode 7, it became about living through the traumas with the characters and witnessing awful events firsthand. If I had known that the second half was going to get that extreme, I would have dropped it.
I was really sad to see all the progress that Hinagiku was making on moving forward with her life and watching that collapse as she realized that Autumn's abductors were the same as hers from 10 years ago.
I also remember the marketing materials alluding to a sweeping romance between spring and winter. I figured this would be full of pining and yearning, but I didn't expect them to not be communicating and to not be in the same room until the final episode. I can understand how she could grow so attached to Rose during her visit when she was a child because her home life and clan were terrible. But 1 month together when you're 6 didn't feel like enough to build their diehard feelings off of, and so it made their romance feel dictated by the mythos of their elements. On the positive side, I loved the character designs and the general art of this world. The visuals were beautiful and atmospheric and were paired with a wonderful soundtrack. And I was joking that the characters each having a special phone case and charm was going to make for good merch. I also liked the Agent of Summer quite a lot, and being able to have that kind of magic to connect with animals would be so cool.
I loved Sakura and Hinagiku's personalities and relationship so much, and their whole story from meeting to how hard Sakura fought to find her when she was kidnapped was heartwarmingly melancholic.
Yeah, their relationship was very good, and I felt like the relationship between Ayame and Ruri was also well done. However, none of the positives changed the sour taste in my mouth left by this anime. If you want a show where you have to watch a deluge of horrible things happen to everyone in the cast, then this is for you. But I'm giving it a 4 because it was bad for my mental health, or a 7 without story bias.
I feel like there certainly was potential for a really strong show here. If the pacing at the start hadn't been as slow as it was, and once the show did pick up in the last half, it was getting better, and if they had at least shortened the sections of Assaulting Spring, it possibly could have been an 8 or 9, but the current package as it stands is a good 7 out of 10.